Thank you and welcome to part 6 of our Acumatica course, where I would like us to cover Acumatica pricing and licensing. So in this video, I would like to answer how much does Acumatica ERP really cost? So in order to start this, what do you learn? You will learn how Acumatica is licensed, what usually affects the pricing mechanism, the licensing edition, and the deployment option. So to start with, I would like us to start by asking ourselves, is Acumatica licensed per user? And the simple question is no. This is the beauty thing with Acumatica because it usually allows unlimited user licensing approach where you are using the production environment. You can be able to add as many users as possible using the same ERP system. Basically, the pricing of Acumatica usually depends on the application. So application, they are the modules which you get into the Acumatica, the business usage, and the deployment technique which you choose. There are three pricing factors in Acumatica, and one of them is application. We go downward to business usage, and we go to step 3 where we have the deployment, which in the deployment, it can cause a very big variance when it comes to the implementation of the Acumatica ERP. So the simple example of the application is the modules which you want into the Acumatica can really affect the pricing. That's why you cannot have a standalone price for Acumatica. So for instance, it depends with the application which you choose. In this scenario, you can see here we have different applications which are the module, where we have the finance module, the inventory module, the sales order, the purchasing, the CRM, the project module, the manufacturing module. So depending on the application which you want in your system, due to have an effect on the pricing and the license which you are supposed to pay the provider of Acumatica or the Acumatica itself. So then business usage, example of it is the sales order which you process, the customer invoices, the purchase order, the payment, and the inventory transaction. So the deployment options, they are here. So this is the deployment method which you choose. We have one of them which we call SaaS, which is software as a service, where you have it is usually cloud hosted. It is easier to manage updates, where we have, and the other method of deployment option is the private clouds, where customer select the hosting area. So this one now allows greater flexibility in the system, but the one which is somehow cheaper is the SaaS method, where you get software as a service. So there are different product edition in Acumatica, where we have the smallest being the essential. Then you go to the select, which is more advanced compared to the essential. Then you go to the prime, and then the enterprise, which can be able to cover a very huge business. So an example of what I'm explaining is that we can take an example of Kin1 Tech. I have to assess the pricing and licensing mechanism in Acumatica. We need to check the required module. Maybe we have the finance, the inventory, purchasing, and sale being a hardware. So then the expected transaction volume of what I'm transacting in my hardware will now inform the pricing and the licensing type which I'm supposed to buy in Acumatica. So that is the whole analogy of it. So basically, the partner licensing process starts from here, where we get the business requirement, we get the application, the business usage. That's where we get to the deployment, and then we recommend the best license which will not get into a lot of problem when using Acumatica. So the key takeaway note is that you need to understand that the pricing in Acumatica usually depends on three major factors. One of them is the application, the module which you require. The other one is the business usage. This one usually track the number of transactions which you carry on in your business. And the third one is the deployment technique which you choose. So this is the whole thing which will affect the Acumatica ecosystem and the implementation of the Acumatica ERP. That also apply to other ERPs which you can be doing the implementation for. So the myth which I want to demystify is that Acumatica pricing, like other ERP which we have in the market, does not depend on the number of users. You can have as many users as possible when using the production environment. But to touch on it, Acumatica usually provide a local host, like the one which I'm just demonstrating with. This usually allow like two users as per time, and when you exceed 2 users, you'll be logged out of the system. So in the next video now, I would like us now to cover deep about the Acumatica workspace, screen, and dashboard, so that you can be able now to understand in the practical sense what it means, and I can be able to explain to you in a way you can be able to understand seeing you are seeing the system. So I thought it was important I cover this concept when you are continuing this video. So in case you have any query, you can post it in the comment section. You can also reach me at a personal level, being a certified Acumatica consultant, using my contacts in the description of this video. Thank you for watching and have a nice day ahead.